Last interview, last podcast for today. Shout out to the Q Connect, Kiwana Montgomery. That's you, y'all, for putting this one together. I don't know how she pulled it off. When I mean they flew and ran here for me, they were opening up a store in Jersey, and they flew here on I-95, 2 hours away. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna bring out two entrepreneurs, two former NBA basketball stars in their own right. They made millions already, right? But that game is over. What are they gonna do for the next 20 years, right? They are the blueprint of what entrepreneurship needs to look like. Life after basketball, right? Life after what your 9 to 5 is gonna look like. What is that blueprint gonna look like? What are you gonna execute on? They have started an amazing cannabis business. A lot of you guys are DMing me, how do I do this? How do I get into cannabis? I showed y'all how to get the bread. I showed y'all how to do it on the low, right? Now, they invested and they grew a brand, something special. So ladies and gentlemen, give a warm blueprint welcome. Don't be cheap. Give them the energy, give them the vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, Al Harrington and Larry Hughes. Fresh. Appreciate y'all. Have a seat, get comfortable. We got the fresh bottles of water there for y'all.
What up, though?
What up, Philly?
Yes, sir.
Oh, y'all must not be from Philly. Where y'all from?
And I told y'all, energy.
Oh, all right. Usually Philly people be wilding out.
Energy.
All right.
Listen, we made it.
We made
it. I appreciate. Listen, thank you, and I mean that. You guys are extremely busy, and I appreciate y'all coming down to Philly, flying out here, rushing. I know you're trying to get home back to the wife. You got to get back to business.
No, my wife right there.
Your
bro.
wife right
she
there?
Pulled up. Yeah.
Where?
She right
Shout
there.
out to the wife.
Yeah, I got a black wife, y'all.
There
Damn,
she
show us
is.
some love, man.
Stop. There she is. Now, y'all see how he pointed his wife out real quick, right? Just to let y'all know. All right. Al Harrington, Larry Hughes, I really appreciate you. Fans, you know we have the same birthday?
For real?
February 17th.
That's
I'm 81,
amazing.
you're 80. So I had to do a little fake research. So Al's coming on the show. So I had to Google some things. I appreciate you guys. So
Me, you, and Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and Michael Jordan, right. Same
You know what I'm
birthday.
saying?
And Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn too, just like
No
me.
doubt. Yes, sir.
Bald-headed goats, you know what I'm saying?
See, everybody from Brooklyn, that's what it is. I know it.
Before we get into Viola, before we get into business, before we get into all that, let's talk about the time in the league, right? Let's talk about 10, 15 years ago. The checks are coming in. Money's coming in. Money's going out. Who is advising Larry and Al on life after basketball? Or was that conversation even had?
Yeah, I was one of the lucky guys. I had a financial advisor that was always talking about life after basketball. And then also, for me, when I first came in the league, I had some back issues where, I didn't know if I was going to be able to continue to play, even though I got drafted out of high school. After my second year, I had my first back surgery. So not knowing if I would be able to play that, for how long. So for me, I had always been kind of just thinking about it. But, things did change once my back got good and started making real money to where I got irresponsible some. But, at the end of the day, dude was able to pull me back in. So, I would just say I give a lot of credit to my financial advisor that I had.
Larry?
Yeah, and I had a mother. So
My mom's.
Yeah, I got drafted when I was 19. So I started with an allowance that was kind of given to me by my mother. Even though I was making all the money, she was like, this is what you should spend and this is what you should put away.
Dope.
Wow.
And that lesson has just stuck with me. I mean, I was basically on allowance up until my first, contract after my rookie year. After my rookie contract.
Really?
Yeah, so I put myself on basically a self-imposed allowance.
Discipline.
And I think you can have all the outside noise, all the different people telling you to save money. We've heard the stories, forever growing up about, the guys that came before us, how they lost money. So we know it can happen. But yeah, man, it was my mom, and I had to look her in the eye. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that I held on to the bag. So yeah, shout out to my mama.
Shout out to your mom. Listen, when did you guys know it was time to move on from the game, though?
Oh, for me, I got tired of working out. You know, I mean, it's hard, man. Playing professional ball is, you know, it's hard. So you think it's just for those 8 months or whatever. It's a 12-month deal. So, you know, when you start working out in the summertime and you're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting that groundwork in, the later you get in your career, you start waking up at 7, 9, 11, noon. So when I started getting up at 9 and 10, I knew it was like time to do something else.
It was time to move on.
And for me, it was physically. You know, I had my knee. I just couldn't get it healthy anymore, or whatever. My goal was always to play 20 years. So I played 16.
Close.
I would have got all 20 if I didn't have, you know, the knee surgery that messed my knee up. But that's what physically, like when after it was just like I was doing more therapy on my knee than I was playing basketball.
Right.
It was like it was over.
How long you been married?
I've been married for 11 years.
Give it up.
12 years.
Give it up.
How many years? 15? 15 years.
No. First of all, don't be correcting my man.
No, we ain't been married that long.
You know what I'm saying? You discussed that after the show.
My daughter, 13. Yeah, 14 years.
14
she don't know
years.
what she's talking about. Yeah.
She don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
cool. So 14 years. Let's go. Lock it up.
Yes, sir.
You on the show. We building networks out here. I asked that. You have a son, right?
I do.
You have a son. So you both are family men, right? I was talking to my wife not too long ago, right? You're always on the road. You're always doing shows. You're always doing this, right? And I was in Mexico probably like in December, and I had to take a call, and she got tight, right? So humbly, I walked up to her, and I was like, yo, listen, you see all this? You see this trip? This phone call pays for this. Give me 5 minutes. So I say all this to say, because I always tell the example, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, the elites, the greats, right? But at the end of the day, anybody in that profession in basketball is number one. For at least 10 years, it's gotta be number one because I'm trying to be great at it. How did you talk to your family on your journey? Like, yo, this is, like, what's family number two? If it's an honest conversation, or were you able to silo basketball and family? Were you able to separate it, or did you keep it a being? Both of you keep it a being, be like, basketball's number one for like 5-10 years. When I retire, babe, I got you. Like, what that look like? Honest conversation.
I mean, honestly, I'm a horrible communicator.
Oh.
So that's what got me through a lot.
We having therapy session. Hold on, y'all. Go ahead.
I just be like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
My bad. But I mean, to your point, like, you know, we first generational wealth in our family. Right, so when you think about it from that perspective, like it take a lot of sacrifice, and you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot when you're kind of in that role. So, you know, I think for me and my family, you know, I think they just understood the grind that I was on, you know, and I think that to the fact that, you know, by me accomplishing, you know, playing professional sports, how I made everybody's lives around me better. So I would say that, you know, for the most people that was in my tight circle, wife, mother, father, brothers and sisters, they always respected that. You know what I'm saying? They always supported me as much as they could.
I appreciate it. How about you, bro?
Yeah, I think it's the same way. I mean, the family see the passion, see how much time you put into it. And yeah, you know, they may get upset, you know, here and there, but they know what's really, you know, really driving the machine. And I think the same way when you talk about getting that phone call. I mean, it's the same with anything. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be present. But if there is an opportunity for me to make more money, to hustle, to make sure that you guys have the best, I mean, that's respected, you know, in our house.
That's special. I want to talk about the power of no. 2023 is when I just learned it, right? Because I'm also I uncomfortably say it, so I'm also first generation wealth, right? So I felt an obligation. But I also realized my freedom came when I started saying no a lot. When did you learn how to say no, and was it difficult at that time when you had to do it? Did you lose friends, family, or did they understand?
Well, I think I learned no early on. Like I said, when I came into the game, and I'm a mama's boy, so I came into the game with that.
Are you enjoying this episode of the Execute Podcast? Well, listen, this free game is just the taste. This episode is sponsored by the Bella Sloan Academy. In the Bellastone Academy, we have so much more game. You wanna learn how to fix your credit? You wanna learn how to set up your business correctly? You wanna learn how to get funding for your business? We got you in the Bellastone Academy. And even more sauce. You wanna know how to market your business? We got you. You wanna know how to 10x your business? We got you. We wanna put you in position for the win. And listen, in the Bellastone Academy, we meet every single month. We have coaches that want to put you in position for the win. So click the link in the description and let's get back to this episode. I'll talk to you soon.
Protection. So I'm from St. Louis. Everybody knows I'm from St. Louis. And in order to get to me, like they had to go through my mama. So that was a buffer for me.
Yeah.
Right? So I learned to say no, but to the point of I'm always going to try to help someone out. I'm a people pleaser. I'm going to make sure that you're okay. If you're okay, then pretty much I'm okay. But at the same time, you know, I don't let that drive the fact that I have to go out and get the things that I want. Right.
How about
Yeah, for me, same thing. Like it was hard for me to say no, honestly. You know what I'm saying? I have a very giving spirit. I give people the shirt off my back, as they say. But same thing, I didn't get in protection until I included my mom's.
I love
and
it.
then, started funneling everything through her. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I, got the courage to start saying no.
So before people get to you, right? So it's moms, like you got to go through moms to get to you.
Facts.
I actually like that. I
think everybody has somebody.
Everybody has somebody.
Yeah, that's a buffer. You need that buffer.
I remember, where Damaris at? Give it up for my CEO, Damaris. Give it up for Damaris. So when I got a CEO, right, it was easier for me to say no. It's like when you have a wife, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to your wife. You blame it on your wife. I can't come, you know what I'm saying, wifey, like. So, or now, Herm, I got this investment. I'm like, so do a proposal and send it to Damaris, right? That's how I say no. It's a lot easier, right? I just gave up the game, but for real, y'all got to send it to Damaris.
$1 million worth of game.
Yeah, she actually helps me with my no. So that's how Herman says no. Let's talk about this amazing brand that you have built, Viola. This thing is amazing. This thing is special. I get DMs all the time. How do I get into cannabis? How do I get funding for cannabis? I know this is your passion. You brought your team, you brought family on. I see Steven Jackson repping it. I see AI repping it. You guys are building, it's still building. I still think you have something special, but you're still building something that's gonna be crazy. Talk to us about the inception on how you built it and give some advice on people that's listening, like, hey, I'm trying to get into that space right now. How'd this start?
Well, for me, how it started was 12 years ago. I was in Denver, Colorado. As one of the routines I got into as a rookie, I used to have to bring, newspaper, donuts, and orange juice every day. And I had to beat the veterans to the gym. So it got me to the gym super early, and then I would just start reading the newspaper. So it kind of kept going, throughout my career. So now I'm the veteran, and I'm requiring the young players to bring me the newspaper. So I'm always reading the newspaper, and, in Colorado, medical cannabis was just becoming available, so it was always articles in the newspaper. So I'm just constantly reading them, just getting little tidbits. So my grandmother comes to see me play maybe in the middle of the season. And she gets there, and I take her bag downstairs. She tells me to bring her bag back upstairs, and I can hear her shaking. It's a pill bag. So I put it up on the counter. She come upstairs. She starts taking the medication. So I just say, Grandma, why are you taking so much medication? And she was like, I got high blood pressure, diabetes, glaucoma. And she just went through a whole list of what black grandmothers have, right? And I was just like, well, Grandma, I was just reading the newspaper how cannabis cures glaucoma patients. And she was like, well, what is cannabis? And I was like, it's marijuana, weed. And she was like, reefer? And she started dying laughing. She's like, boy, I ain't smoking no reefer. You out of your mind. So literally the next day I come home from shoot around, and she's sitting in the kitchen and she's complaining about her eyes hurting. So I said, Grandma, why don't you just try it? I said, we're in a legal market. The doctor recommends it. Let's just try it. She was like, you know what? I'm in so much pain today, I'll try anything. So I called my boy. Pretty much, he goes to the dispensary, bring back a strain called Vietnam Kush. We put it in a volcano bag of all things, right? Because I didn't want her to smoke in a blunt. So put it in the volcano bag. She started smoking out the volcano bag, hit it 3-4 times. Grandma, she hitting it and blowing it out her nose, perfect.
Vietnam Kush. Write that down.
So I'm really looking at her like, Grandma, you sure you never smoked before? Because you just hitting it and blowing it. She like, boy, I never smoked nothing.
Cat.
like, all right, grandma. But long story short, I take her downstairs. I go take a nap. Hour and a half later, I wake up from my nap. And at this point, I had only smoked weed one time in my life. And I was in Phoenix, Arizona. And I was so paranoid after I smoked that I was just like, the next day when I got on the bus with the team, I was like, I don't know why y'all smoke weed. This is like horrible. Right. So make sure she's not tripping. So go downstairs, knock on the door, don't hear nothing. I knock again, I just open the door. So when I open the door, her back's to the door and she's looking down. So I say, Grandma, how you feeling? And she turns around and she's bawling, she's crying tears, and she says, I'm healed. You know, I haven't seen the words of my Bible in over 3 years.
Wow.
So I was like, for real? And she was just like, she's just crying. So I go in, I hug her. She made me cry. I ain't gonna lie, I cried because she was crying so hard. I'm like, this made me cry.
Right.
Called my mother and she was just telling her like, you know, how God gave her sight back, all of that stuff. So that's what inspired me to start my cannabis company. Viola is named after my grandmother, right?
Wow. So isn't that interesting? Gilly, you know what I'm saying, wasn't that a different vibe in Gilly smoking? It's a whole different vibe. Yeah, my grandma, the Vietnam Kush, that's right. Wild.
Word.
You've built an amazing team. You put Larry beside you. You got some amazing brand ambassador. Let's talk about the business side of it, right? Let's talk about the upfront investment. How'd you raise capital? How'd you do it? How does it turn into this? Or everybody, you say Viola, everybody know what it is. How'd you build it? How you put these people around you?
Well, I think to the point of like, how did we raise money? I raised money off of vision, right?
Ooh, no. I don't think they heard you. You raised money off of what?
A vision.
A vision. How?
And I think that to your point of like, first I had to do something, right? And thank God I had my own capital that I could accomplish something. So meaning like, I had to get a license first. So like once I got a license, that gave me credibility. It gave me something that people could invest in. Then once I had the license, I told them what I was gonna do with the license, how we were gonna produce all these different products, how much product we were gonna produce, how many people we felt like we were gonna help. And I got people to believe in that vision and they made investments. So to the point of like, in the beginning, I didn't take any investment. I had a bunch of guys in the locker room that was just infatuated by the fact that I was growing weed and they wanted to like invest, but I wouldn't take their money because I didn't know what I was doing yet. And I didn't want to lose a relationship or lose a friendship over losing somebody's money.
Y'all paying attention?
You know what I'm saying? But once I got through my learning curve, you know what I'm saying, and it probably cost me, you know, just over $1 million, that's when I finally started to get my footing and started to understand what was going on. Now, back in the day, you know, 12 years ago, 7 years ago, even 4 years ago, it was a lot easier to raise money in the cannabis space because it had this kind of pie in the sky kind of opportunity. But we've seen so many like bigger companies raise hundreds of millions of dollars and all go out of business.
Yeah.
So now the business is in this point where people are like very uncertain and not knowing like should they invest or not. And I just feel like whenever you have these type of times in any type of industry, I think that's when you should be more aggressive and double down. Because this is when you can get in at the cheapest point, at the lowest point, and then when things change, who knows what amount of assets you probably gained at that time and what the value is of it at that point. Because we're waiting for two things to happen in this cannabis industry. One, to either deschedule from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2, so that means they can start changing, or we waiting for safe banking. Where we get access to real capital.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because right now, anything that we do in the space, we have to raise it from amongst each other. We can't go to a bank. We can't get a loan. So those are like the biggest barriers in the cannabis space, to me, is the education. You know what I'm saying? Educating our people, or educating people in general before they get into the business, to know what it takes, what are the requirements, understand the regulation, understand the legislative laws around what we're actually doing, so that when you do get the opportunity, you can take advantage of it. I think strategically, they create social equity from the standpoint of like they want it to be to people that was just recently incarcerated. I say that to say there's nothing wrong with someone that's recently incarcerated, but it's very difficult to invest in someone and you're going to give them 51% of a business and they just came home from jail. What do they know about business?
Right,
you know what I'm saying? They have no track record, no credibility, but then that's what opens them up to predatory investors, because a lot of times these businesses always fail, and now you get it for pennies on a dollar. There's some licenses that we've won for, like in his great state, because he's my partner in his hometown of Missouri. we won the license for 35 grand. We could have sold that license for 17 million.
Are you enjoying the free game that you are getting on the Execute podcast? Well, listen, inside the Bella Sloan Academy, we have even more game for you. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna click the link in the description to get access to information on how to fix your credit on your own, how to set up your business on your own, how to fund your business on your own. And we have so many other courses to put you in position for the win. You wanna start an Airbnb? We got you. You wanna know how to market your business? We got you. You need to learn how to do funnels? We got you. In the Bella Sloan Academy, let's put you in position for the win. Let's get back to the episode.
Sorry, one more time. I'm sorry. What?
I'm saying we won a license for $35,000.
Won the license for $35,000.
And all the licenses that we won, we could have sold it for $17 million at one point.
But you didn't.
We did not.
Man, I would have been out. Y'all got a
Vision,
vision.
baby, vision.
Y'all got a
bro,
vision. I was about to
vision,
say
baby.
that. Y'all got a vision. So you gonna pay me 17 now? Bet I'm gonna hold it for a little, just a little bit longer. That's wild. That's crazy.
But the industry changes because to that point, it's not worth 17 today. Right? And it's because of those things that I mentioned earlier, because there's so much negativity around the cannabis space. But we see, I mean, you know, we own a store now in St. Louis, and we see the people, how they walk in there every day. We went from seeing, we've been open for like, 5-6 weeks. First week, we were seeing like 15 people a day. By week 2, we're seeing over 100 people a day.
Wow.
Now we're at 200 people a day.
Wow.
And we see the impact that we have on people with cannabis. Like a lot of times people walk in there all sour faced, and by the time they cop their thing, they walk it out smiling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, so for me, it's just so many different, you know, facets of the business that, you know, really inspire me to keep going every day.
Is Viola ready or positioned for when the government flips the switch?
I would say yes. I mean,
Okay.
we're a brand, so that's what we focus on, being a brand. So when you think about, you know, just say you own a cultivation, right? And your cultivation can only produce $10 million worth of product per year, right? No matter what you do, that's all it is 10 million, right? So when you go to sell that, somebody's gonna give you a multiple by $10 million. There's not a lot of upside to that, right? It's just a 1x, 2x. But if I got a cannabis business, right, that's thriving in 4 states, but we got 50 states and we got international, what is that worth? You know what I'm saying? What is that reach worth? What is that brand worth? So that's why we've like had a laser focus on, you know, really, building around our brand.
Listen, when a black man is talking about valuation, it's a win. It's a win. It's a win. Larry Hughes Sr. That means you have a junior. I'm Herman Dulce Jr. Shout out to my father, first generation Herman
I'm a
Dulce.
junior too.
You're junior too. That means, Larry, you have a legacy situation going on, right? You have something that you can pass down. What are the lessons a father in your position is giving to his son?
I think discipline.
Discipline.
Discipline, accountability, your work ethic, your character. I mean, you know, overall, and how you treat people.
Right.
Yeah, I play basketball, he plays basketball, but, you know, I think you'll be remembered for, you know, how you make people feel.
Right,
And that's not
facts.
necessarily, you know, bouncing the basketball. It's when they're in your presence, you know, how do you communicate? So just passing a lot of things down from, you know, educating myself and passing those things down to my son is, you know, I feel like it's my role.
How old is your son now?
He's 19.
19.
19.
So the game is changing, right? We got NIL happening right now, where these younger kids are getting access to millions and millions of dollars before a contract is signed, before NBA basketball is bounced. How are you protecting him?
Conversation. You know, conversation. Allowing him to navigate a little bit on his own. You know, you have social media, you have different ways that people can contact him about, you know, any opportunity. So allowing him to see some of those things and even have some back and forth. But knowing, you know, what I know, a lot of times those things don't end the way they're supposed to end. So having an adult, you know, look over the information, having an attorney look over the information, you know, having the things in place that you can be a successful business person. You know, I think with the NIL, you know, it's almost like pay for play. So that's you know, name, image, and likeness is what, you know, I want him to build. You know, that's his brand. You know, that's his image. That's how he carries himself. So that's kind of the balance on what comes his way. Is it a pay for play sort of situation, or is it a name, image, and likeness? Meaning, is a two-way street.
Right.
Like what you're bringing to the table is value to a corporation, a business, someone else,
Right,
versus just trying to take some money and that usually doesn't end well.
Usually when children try to follow in their footstep of their parents, sometimes the parents is like, I don't want you to really get into that, right? So your son, does he want to get into the league?
He does.
He does.
He does. He'll tell you about it, but he works hard.
Yeah.
He works hard, and I've obviously been there every step of the way. And there's times when I didn't think he wanted it, and then there's times when I recognized that he wants it.
Right.
And right now, at 19, a freshman in college who just experienced a season of college basketball, like I know that he wants it now. You know what I mean? I'm for sure that he wants it now.
You feel it.
So, he'll see what happens, but at the end of the day, he's a 3.0 student. He's in the National Honor Society in college. So
Nice. Give it up. Give it up for his son. Give it up.
Those are the things that are most important. You know what I'm saying? I played, 13 years. I've been retired 12 now.
Dang.
So, yeah, it goes fast.
It goes fast.
And then there's a lot of living left. So sometimes I forget I even play basketball. I mean, straight up. Sometimes I forget that I play because I'm enjoying the stuff that that I'm doing now.
How did you know, right, that Viola and this business situation is where you wanted to go next after basketball?
The vision, the vision of Al, knowing Al, knowing where he comes from, hearing him talk about it, hearing him go through the ups and downs. That's where it starts.
Right.
Like it starts with the vision, and then it's the people.
There's the people around.
So, I'm one of the people that's jumped on this team as far as understanding this vision that are going to help to, push his vision forward. But at the same time, educating myself.
Right.
Now we have 2 dispensaries in St. Louis. They talk about the Missouri market being now a top 10 market, which they didn't expect for it to be.
Right.
So that's vision. I'm from Missouri, but Al understands the game and said that Missouri will be a place to be.
To build, yeah.
So, it's the vision, and then obviously whatever the product is or the service, and the product is quality. Product is
Vietnam Kush.
I ain't been able to find that cut.
Listen, how do you know, because we talk about vision a lot, right? And we got a lot of entrepreneurs out here starting so many brands, so many businesses, right? There's a difference between continue with the vision and knowing when to let go, like, this ain't it, right? All right, you guys are successful on and off the court, right? How do you tell people, like, this is it, you need to let it go? Or how do they understand, I got to keep going? How do you know the difference, when to put it down or when to keep pressing? Are you able to tell the difference? Because that's a hard conversation to have.
I don't quit, bro, so
You don't even know. I don't quit. Oh, it don't matter.
Yeah, I don't quit, so. I guess to tell other people, I'll just be like, bro, that shit ain't gonna work. Like, just be honest.
It's gonna work or it's gonna work.
Yeah, I'm just, because I'm just thinking about, like, to your point, like, the conversations I've had with people like that, of, like, when they're doing something that's just, like, going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I think that you can only be brutally honest, and then also still be, like, available to, still work with them and don't get so frustrated with them not listening that you don't want to continue to support them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And continue to, try to give them advice in which the right way to go is how I think about it. And, but for me, mostly everything that I've done to this point has been successful. And to your point of, like, when it gets rough, it's just like having that, I'm not going to quit, And, thank God that it's been like that for me.
Right,
I can't speak that, I'm sure that's not like for everybody.
I love it. I love that energy. What about you, Larry?
Oh yeah, that's where the basketball comes in. That competition.
Yeah.
Right? That competition. I think it's your risk. Managing your risk, and then your funding. Right. I mean, if you got unlimited funding, you can keep it rocking.
Happen.
You know what I'm saying?
And y'all know where to get funding. Bella Sloan Enterprises, yada yada yada. Y'all know how to make it happen. So you got the funding. You could definitely make your dreams come true. Real quick, you talked about your exit, right? $600 million. So Coors Light, the Marlboro company, somebody comes out, they's like, Al, I'll give you $1 billion and walk away right now. Is it enough?
I'm gonna tell you why it's enough. For sure. $1 billion?
$1 billion? It's enough to exit right now?
Right now. I might do it for the 6.
You might leave for 6. Right now?
I just told y'all this the best time to buy.
It's the best time
So
to buy.
I was selling for 6 and then go and gobble up all this other opportunity out there. Like that's how I would play it.
All right, that's the exit. All right. So I like to end my podcast with the same question. Viola, Al Harrington, Larry Hughes, what does it look like in 10 years? What are y'all doing in 10 years? What does it look like?
Hopefully I'm like the chairman of like some publicly traded company.
Chairman of a publicly traded company. Wow.
Yeah.
I love
that
it.
Viola's the name.
And Viola's the name of the company. You dig. Larry, what does it look like in 10 years?
And I'm riding with that.
Hey.
You know, I'm riding with that. Because
My head of R&D.
Somebody VP, you know what I'm saying?
What? Immediately, I'm with him.
You with it?
I'm with him.
You with it? You with it?
Yeah,
You
no,
with it?
it's just an expansion. I mean, doing good business, bringing on good people. Like I said, it's about the people. So Al is always connecting, making those connections. So as many good people as he can connect with, I mean, sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. I love it. I appreciate it. So we got St. Louis. Y'all just opened a Patterson, New Jersey. What's the next spot that's opening?
We got
Philly.
Philly coming. Philly just got pushed back to August, but
Philly got pushed back to August. They got the vision. It's coming in August.
We got Philly. We got 420. We got Nevada. Vegas.
Oh, so I'm taking a trip. All right, we gonna slide.
Then we got Illinois. We got Illinois this summer.
Yeah.
PA this summer. And I think that's it. In New York. Yeah,
In New York.
Hopefully New York. Expansion
in always. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Al Harrington, Larry Hughes, thank you for coming out. Give it up. Execute Podcast. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.